One Punch Man chapter 125. Sit! So this was fine. You know, it was a fine chapter. It's never really bad. It's just that it was really short and it just, leaves you wanting so much more. But it's understandable. I think this was like the shortest chapter that was released in recent memory. Like this was even shorter than what a typical Weekly Shonen Jump chapter is. And I'll get into why I think that this chapter was as short as it was. Because, at first I thought maybe it was a mistake. Maybe there was, some pages missing. But no, then I saw Murata on Twitter said that he was sorry because it was so short. And then I think I understand what's going on here. And it's fine. But let's get into it. So this chapter opens up pretty strong with Bang and Bomb just straight up defeating Overgrown Rover in a super awesome sequence. Like, just Crossfang Dragon Slayer fist, and then they just kick him into the wall, and then he falls into the ground, literally putting him in the dirt. This was amazing. Even though it's not that long or strung out, it was just so satisfying to see this happen because this is not how it plays out in the webcomic. Like, we don't get this satisfying sequence of them just slaying Rover. It's like they do the Crossfang Dragon Slayer fist to him, and then he just kind of takes it, and then just it keeps going. And then they're like, oh, and then we get to the sequence where they say sit. So it was awesome to see this. Now, let us also remember that they are minusculely buffed at this point, and that was really the big question coming out of the previous chapters, like how much did Fubuki buff them? And I'm thinking it wasn't like a super significant buff amount, because she said, I've reinforced your body, she should be able to move a little bit faster, although the effect is only temporary. Then they're like, oh, my knee pain's gone, I can feel the strain in my lower back, my fists have regained their sharpness. So it's not like she gave them some kind of crazy, oh my god, they're imbued with power that they would never have normally. It's not something like that. I mean, it just made them a little bit better. Maybe 5-10% better. Somewhere around there. But also, we have to take into account that Rover obviously came into this fight severely injured. He took a friggin' punch from Saitama. Lived to tell the tale. And, he was bleeding and everything. Now, how much did that hinder him coming into this? It's really unclear. He still seemed just pretty formidable, just as formidable as he normally is, but maybe his durability stat just dropped from taking that massive punch, and his endurance as well. So there's a lot of things that go into the result of this fight, but still pretty impressive, obviously, from Bang and Bomb doing what they did, because you're thinking who else could really replicate this feat? Not many characters, because we saw how ridiculously powerful Overgrown Rover was. And also another thing that I want to touch on is Fubuki saying, and yet his strength rivals that of Silver Fang's, referring to Bomb. So I like that this is put out there. She's saying rivals it, because Murata really kind of said something that I think that maybe was jumping the gun, I think 2 years ago. He said Bomb was stronger than Bang. Now maybe that was a translation issue in one of his live streams. I don't know, but I never really agreed with that, and I want to make a video dedicated to Bomb, and now we really can because we have enough info on him. But I think that's a better way of quantifying Bomb's power. He rivals Silver Fang. No way in hell is he stronger than him. Unless I hear one say that, there's no real evidence to support that. And then Rover gets back up. So this is leading into how the webcomic played out. Because, rather than him just going into the dirt and then getting up, he kind of just takes the Crossfang, and then he just continues to go. And then we go into this whole thing, what an annoying doggy. We can't pass through. Just sit and behave. And then he does. He complies with the command of sit. And this is because Rover has essentially been conditioned to obey this command. It started back in chapter 91, pretty sure, when Garo, did his quote-unquote full power punch or technique to Rover, and then he was sit, and that didn't really affect him. He literally just shook that one off. But then we go back to, I think, chapter 106, when Saitama just mollywops him and says sit, and that was the one that really, ingrained into him. And then we're coming to this sequence where they just, beat the crap out of him with that Crossfang Dragon Slayer fist, and then now he's saying sit again. So now he's okay, I realize it. I get punched, and then I'm told to sit, so I will comply from now on. And this is the most submissive we've ever seen Rover. He looks like in a pup form. He looks, not that aggressive or monstrous in this one panel of him sitting down. So this is definitely, I don't know, almost like a face turn for Rover, like trying to win the audience over almost. So then we come to the single Tatsumaki page, and we see that she's noticing that Fubuki is in fact in the association with them. And it's interesting how she's like observing this, because she sees like the flash of light coming out of the ground to the side of her. So I guess they're beneath Tatsumaki right now, like directly beneath them, which is interesting because it's like the layout of this place is strange, because I thought Tatsumaki might have been close to the bottom, but I guess she's not at all, because I mean, obviously we saw the architecture of this place in chapter 90 or 93, one of those chapters when like Child Emperor brings up the layout of it in like front of the S-Class when they're at the meeting, and it's friggin' massive. It's like the biggest structure that we've ever seen. It's like comparable to like, I don't know, a skyscraper or something, maybe even bigger than that. But then she's like, I told them absolutely not to allow her to get involved, and I'll give Second Guard a piece of my mind later. Yeah, we know that Tatsumaki's very controlling of Fubuki, but also it's like, I said this on Twitter, but like this whole Tatsumaki Giro fight is moving at Dragon Ball Z Namek level speed. So then we come to the whole Minecart roller coaster sequence with Saitama and Flashy Flash with the poop toilet monster from a couple chapters back. And this is fun, but let's be honest here, this is like just straight up manga filler. And I'm just like, okay, I get it, and it's what I was talking about earlier with, you know, Murata and this chapter being short. It makes me think that this was kind of like a active recovery chapter for Murata. Like he's taking a break kind of, but still giving us content in the meantime, because he's a great guy like that. Like maybe he just needs to take like a breather and not go too intense with the sequences and the drawing and everything because of what's to come. Because it's like, why add this manga filler in there when there's like massive significant events that still need to happen? Like there's two big crazy events and sequences that are going to happen very soon. They could happen at any chapter now. And like one of them, obviously, you know what it's going to be. It was set up a couple chapters back. And then the second one is even bigger than that. So I guess they just kind of want to wait for that to happen. They kind of just want to bide their time with this. So I guess Murata just wanted to like give himself a little breather before he gets into that craziness that's about to happen. And also, it's not like they need to really, you know, buy time or lag things out or pad anything, because there's still a lot that needs to happen before this arc is just completed. It won't be completed this year. I guarantee it won't be completed this year. Even if they go like by the same pace that they did last year, like they got an impressive like 24 chapters out last year. And that's mainly because Murata was able to like maintain that pace of bi-weekly chapters for most of the year. Even if they're able to replicate that speed this year, it still won't be completed until like midway 2021 or maybe even the end of 2021. I really don't see it happening before then. So they're not like trying to extend it for no reason. I think this was like a calculated move. But I'm definitely not mad at them keeping this like toilet poop monster alive and giving them directions and whatnot. I think it adds like a, you know, an interesting little dynamic that we haven't really seen too much of. And then we get the whole dialogue of Flashy Flash, like, it's time for the match of the millennium, referring to Orochi, which is why they're keeping the monster with them, so he can guide them to where Orochi allegedly is. And then that brings up the question, like, what if Flashy Flash did fight Orochi? You know, 1v1, of course. And I'm thinking it's not looking too good for Flashy Flash. I mean, of course, I obviously rate him super high. Like, he's one of the strongest S-Class heroes, no doubt. But there's very few characters that could solo Orochi, and he's definitely not one of them, at least in my opinion. But we come to this also fun little sequence of Saitama, like, riding the minecart, like it's like a roller coaster, and this just amuses the hell out of him. And it's funny, you know, it's funny, but it's like at the same time, Saitama's like the fastest thing on Earth. And it's like, why is this, you know, entertaining to him? It's whatever. But something interesting that happens here is that we see like a little Giro camera, I guess, because it's like attached to the ceiling, and then you see click, which means like it took a picture or something. So that's pretty important. Obviously, this is going to be relayed back to Giro with whatever she's doing, psychically struggling with Tatsumaki. So once she gets the info that Flashy Flash, Saitama, and the Poop Monster are going through these tunnels on the minecarts, then I guess she's going to take alternate measures to do something. I mean, obviously that happened for a reason, but I'm just interested in where it's going to go, because this is all new stuff. None of this happens in the webcomic, not even close. So it's just interesting to where this is going to play out. But then we see the monster saying that he's going to like ride the cart off the track and like take them into the abyss, and he's going to take himself out with them. And we get the funny little sequence of them all being like going off to heaven. And then the monster has like a change of heart. So maybe this monster, I don't know, becomes a good guy or something. I don't think that's going to happen. I think this monster is just going to die. It's only a matter of time. But I really wouldn't be mad if he somehow survives this sequence and then, I don't know, winds up surviving this arc, because I don't know, we've already had a few redemptions already, like Hellfire and Gale. I mean, we haven't seen them for a long time, but they came back to life for a reason, and I think they're going to make it out of this arc. Rover kind of just had a redemption too. He could have been killed by Saitama, but he wasn't. Could have been killed by Bang and Bomb, but he wasn't. And then he had the whole little, you know, the pup sequence. So, we might get some redemptions coming out of this arc. Maybe not everybody's going to be a bad guy. Maybe the Poop Monster is one of them, but that's pretty much it for the video today, guys. Let me know what you thought about this chapter. Where do you think things are headed? And then what do you think is going to happen once they get there? If you liked it, please give it a like. I also have a Patreon. It gives you access to a weekly Q&A. And if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.